Hey guys, welcome to Guitars 37. I'm reviewing this, which is the Godzilla vs. King Kong Godzilla with radio tower action figures. So really cool, really blessed to pick this up today. Now, I believe Godzilla vs. Kong is being pushed back to next year. I know a lot of movies did get pushed back. I think it was originally coming out this November. It might still be coming out this year, but I believe it was pushed back to next March. But regardless, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. But we have this really cool image of Godzilla and King Kong fighting each other up there. We got this clear view of him in package. We got the city being destroyed with Monsterverse and Radio Tower written there. The battle damage reveal. I love the artwork for this city. I think it's so cool how they kind of did this. And then on the background here, you have Zilla just basically destroying that tower and the other characters in the wave. So yeah, let's open this up. So here we have Zilla out of the packaging, and he's actually pretty big with his tail. And the way they did this was pretty cool because I've noticed, like, compared to some of their previous releases in this toy line, they're attempting to make these figures a little bit more articulate this time around. And personally, I've always said I don't care if these figures are really articulate because they're not Spider-Man, they don't do backflips, they're giant monsters that just fight. And a lot of people really want articulate versions of these, but I'm not one of those people. Like I said, I could care less about the articulation, but I am actually happy to see they're putting more articulation into this particular wave because, this is a fighting wave, this is a fighting movie. So obviously you're going to want some characters to really be able to smack down, and I think that's pretty cool. And the details on the face are pretty nice. You have the black and yellow eyes there. You got some really nice scale detailing that's really molded into the arm here. It's kind of given like this gray wash with it, and it just looks really good. He's got some nice claws. You can see his little torso there and his big, happy, angry face of death. And then he's got these ginormous spikes that have this really nice touch of blue on them. Almost like he's about to use his sonic scream. Probably not the real name of it. I just thought of that because I don't know the real name. But you have some nice detailing on the legs that look really good. And he's got these giant toes, which are painted black toe claws. They just look really awesome. And then the tail itself is ginormous. Like, I didn't really think of how big that was going to be because in packaging, it doesn't look that big. But it really is. It's got some, again, more of that lighter blue. I like how it continues all the way down. And it's just a really huge tail in general. So that's pretty cool. And also, for details of accessories, you also get this little radio tower that's really small, but I mean, like, compared to Zilla, it probably would be. And he can just kind of hold that in his hand and use it as like a fighting weapon. I mean, he's just fed up with AT&T service, and it really shows in this particular moment. So, yeah, pretty cool. And in terms of articulation, like I was saying, even though he's kind of limited here, he does actually have more articulation than I've seen on some of these, and I like how they're trying to change that. So let me see if I can get this to hold. The first bit of articulation is he has a neck jaw that's articulate, so he can close and open his mouth. I absolutely love neck jaw articulations. It's one of my favorite things on action figures because, alternative heads are weird. Like, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So the idea that you can just open or close the mouth, I've always thought this really cool, but there's only certain characters it really works out well on. And Zilla is definitely one of them. So to kind of like have a closed mouth and then an angry mouth, I just think that's something really cool. You've also got a 360 at his neck, not really his head here, but his neck that allows him to rotate. His arms also rotate 360, and that's pretty cool. And his legs also move up and down. But they also put his tail on a ball joint, so you can kind of move it side to side. You can rotate it 360 degrees, and there's a lot of movement there. Again, it's fairly limited, but for what it is, you do actually get some more movements out of it, especially compared to the others. So it looks like they're really trying here, and I like that. And then also here on the torso, you can just rip that off and boom. You got this blood kind of where he's been stabbed or slashed or something. And I'm going to be honest, I think, in some places you can kind of see where it's tabbed in, but in others it's really hard to see the tab. And I kind of like the tab. I mentioned in my King Kong video that one day, in like 10 years, you'll probably see a bunch of these on eBay missing the piece. And that's my only complaint here, that it's a little hard to see that. Aside from that, I have no real complaints, and I think that's a pretty cool added extra feature. And here's a comparison with Kong from this new toy line. As you can see, they look pretty cool together. And you can see what I mean about their weapons, too. It just really adds to it. Just the effect of it and the scale overall. And yeah. Here's a comparison with the classic Godzilla, who is a little bit taller and just bigger overall. And then here's a comparison with the Mecha Godzilla that came out last year. And I believe, I don't remember what company makes these. I believe it's Bandai. But I think Bandai holds the license to Godzilla, and I think they're distributed by Playmates now in the United States. I'm not 100% sure on that, so like don't quote me on that. But just the packaging on some of the older or earlier Playmates stuff is really similar to the Bandai stuff. And it looks like the same thing in general. So I think it's just made over there and distributed over here. But I'm not 100% sure. If you guys know in the comments, so let me know the answer to that if I'm wrong. But yeah, overall, I think this is a pretty cool Godzilla action figure. You know, I think there's been a lot of Zilla action figures in the past couple of years. So I actually don't have a 2014 movie version yet. So I'm really happy to own this one. But, you know, for those of you who do, there's, you know, there is some added things in here, like more of the articulation, the tells, and the weapon. So I think you'll be happy with that. But for the most part, it's a pretty cool action figure. And yeah, I think they did a good job with it. Thanks for watching. Please rate, like, and subscribe.